Take me through that process a little bit, like what the last few, because you haven't even been in the portal, right? Kind of navigating that and trying to make a decision for you and your family.
Before the season, Coach told you, he sat me down and was like, hey man, I know what you're gonna do this year, and after this season, I fully expect you to hop into the portal or just at least hear them out. He's like, you deserve that. I just couldn't do it. I thought about every scenario that you could think of, and right here at UAB, I have the best head coach, I have the best quarterback coach, I have the best offensive coordinator, best teammates. I can't think of a better place where I'd rather be. And then plus, my head coach won a Super Bowl. Like he coached he coached the Elite 11. He did all this stuff with all these quarterbacks. I would be stupid if I left and went somewhere else where I'm not gonna get the same level of coaching and stuff. That was really the biggest thing. I'm not really a money guy, because the way I see it is, if I just put my head down and work every day and keep getting better and learn from Dilfer and everything on the staff, money now, doesn't really mean anything. So, I know I'm gonna make it up on the back end.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Next Up podcast. I'm Adam Breneman. We are at UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham, and today we're talking to the UAB quarterback, Jacob Zeno. Jacob Zeno has a great story, had a phenomenal season in 2023, and I have some of his stats right here in front of me. This past season, he finished 3rd in the nation in completion percentage with 74%, 7th in completions per game, and 11th in the country in total offense. He's one of the best quarterbacks in college football, was pursued heavily by Power 5 programs to transfer, but decided to stay here at UAB and play for Trent Dilfer. So going to talk to Jacob Zeno about all things his career, what drives him, and that decision to stay at UAB in 2024. Before we talk to Jacob, please subscribe to this podcast if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening, please leave us a rating, share it with some friends, no matter where you're listening or watching. Throw a comment, share it, like it, follow us on social media. Anything you guys can do to support the podcast helps me a ton and allows me to travel around the country and have one amazing guest like Jacob Zeno. Let's go talk to Jacob. Next up. What's up, guys? It's Adam Breneman. It's now holiday season. You guys are looking for gifts. I'm telling you right now, check out our merch store. We have super high quality merch. My favorite is this college football tee. If you're a college football fan, you need this thing. We have college basketball tees, tons of merch for college sports fans. Use the code ADAMB15 for 15% off at checkout. Go get some college football merch and check out our other styles today. I appreciate you joining, man. You flew in just for this, right?
Yeah,
last night?
Yeah, I got in last night.
Were you at home?
Yeah, I was at home. I was in San Antonio.
You thought you were just chilling in San Antonio? They're like, you gotta go do a podcast.
Yeah, I got a call and it was saying that, we're gonna fly you up on Tuesday night for an interview on Wednesday. So I was like, man, cool.
I love it, man. Yeah, I'm excited to get you on. Congrats on the great season you had, man. It was fun watching you. Did it feel good to have that level of success as a player?
Yeah, it felt good. First time starting.
Yeah.
It just felt good that all that work is starting to pay off. But that's just scratching the surface. I know I have a lot more in my tank. I have a lot more that I could achieve. This upcoming season, and that's why it was really important to stay here and stay with the guys and keep the team together and see what we could do next year.
Yeah. I want to start with your recruiting process before you even got to college. You had a bunch of offers. I was looking at your 247 profile on the way here, and take me through that process. What was going through your mind? What were some of those discussions during the recruiting process?
Yeah, so I think it really started my sophomore year. So I used to play 2 sports. I used to play basketball, football. My dad, I was hooping.
Good?
Yeah, I can hoop now.
Were you though?
I can hoop. No.
Everyone says they're
legit. Legit. I can hoop. I could go. And so my dad sat me down one day and was like, "Hey man, you've been playing 2 sports your whole life. You're very good at both, but it's like it seemed every time I play basketball, I lose all my weight.
Yeah.
Now I get back to football and I'm behind like a month before I can fully get to playing at my ability." So he was saying, it's about that time to choose which sport you want to do. So I always loved basketball, but it just wasn't like football. Football was my safe haven. Football was, the thing that I truly loved. Chose it, and once I put all my effort into it, everything just took off. That's when the offers started rolling in. That's why we're going to the rival camps. Met up with Dilfer at the Elite 11. And so then my junior year, got a couple more. Decided to commit to Baylor. Went there on the coach rule. I redshirted my first year. Played the last 3 games. Played the Big 12 championship. Played against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Rule left, went to Carolina. Then Aranda came in. That's when COVID happened, and so stuff started to get weird.
Yeah.
Not knowing if you go play a game, not knowing, just the uncertainties. And that took a toll on me just mentally, because it was like, man, like you're putting this work in and then you're not playing and just other stuff, and then not being able to be around people with COVID, and that was really like a low time right there. Came out 2021. I had a chance to get the starting job over there at Baylor. Stuff didn't really work out the way that I wanted it to. Decided to go into the portal. I think like the third or fourth game of the season. Hopped in, was talking to people. I didn't really want to go to the West Coast. I was talking with some teams over there, and it's just not my fit. Then we had some coaches on staff. We had Coach Craddock. That was at Arkansas, recruited me when I was still in high school. So talked to him, came down here for an official. I loved it. I loved the city. I loved UAB. And then plus at that time, I didn't graduate yet. And so, I was still trying to find a place where I could graduate, get my master's, or possibly get my master's, but just get a degree. I fell in love with it, and so I came here.
Yeah, I love it, man. What was your final couple schools before you picked Baylor? What was that process like when you were picking it out of high school?
Yeah, so Kingsbury was still at Texas Tech then.
Got it, yeah. Slinging around 56 times a game.
Yeah, so, I really wanted to go to Tech, but, you didn't know if Kingsbury was going to stay there or not, stuff like that. So it came down to Tech, Baylor, and Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was the head coach? Was that Dan Mullen?
Yeah, it was Mullen. Yeah, it was Mullen there at Florida. Some stuff happened there with recruits and everything. They already had their guy. And so I just really believed in Rule, what he did. He changed his programs around. Yeah. When he was at Temple, he changed Temple around, got to Baylor, changed Baylor around. They were 1-11 to, I think, like 5-7 or something like that. And then the next year, we're in the Big 12 championship. Yeah. And I fully expect him to do the same thing in Nebraska too.
Yeah. What's the craziest thing that happened to you during the recruiting process, especially at quarterback? I know some funny things happen when you're a quarterback, man.
Man, I wouldn't say
Nothing
too
crazy?
much. Yeah, I wouldn't say too much. It almost reminded me of like high school.
Yeah.
Going back into it, I'm like, man, I'm over here talking to coaches every day, scheduling visits, going on campuses and stuff like that. But I don't think nothing too crazy happened.
Yeah. You made the decision to come play for Coach Dilfer, what was how much did the relationship you had with him from the Elite 11 stuff come into play there?
Yeah, so he came last year, so that's when Coach Vince and all them were here. So we're going through bowl prep and everything. He's on the field and everything. So I didn't really, with him coming in and then leaving and doing all the stuff he had to do, I was just here. I didn't go out and make an effort to, hey, you remember me, Coach? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, man, it's going to be what it's going to be. And, we're standing on the field in one of the practices, and we're leaving. I'm walking off the field. Next thing you know, I get a punch in my back. I'm like, gosh, who is this? And it was him. He was like, dang, like, you don't remember me? You're not going to say what's up? And so yeah, we just hit it off there. And, he still believed everything that he did at the Elite 11. He said I was one of his favorite quarterbacks there, loved my hard work and everything like that. And so, I'm glad that he's my head coach. Yeah.
I just talked to Coach for a while about his time at the Elite 11. Looking back on your time as an Elite 11 quarterback, what do you think, where do you think you maybe grew the most during that time? What did you learn the most from it?
I would say the mental aspect of it. That's when I really started to really see that playing quarterback is not just going out there and slinging it to guys. It's really, you have to think about it and study defenses and no protections and stuff like that. Because, before then, I was, the best person on the field every time I touched the field in high school. So before I went to Elite 11, I'm just going out there just playing around. I knew about, studying tape and watching defenses and stuff like that, but it really didn't matter.
Yeah.
And when I went there with all those guys telling me, hey, this was going to be like at the next level, blah, blah, I was like, okay, if I really want to do this and play at not only the college level, but get to the NFL, then I have to take the mental side of the game more serious. And so after I left there, started watching tape, just started doing all the little things I needed to do mentally to make myself a better quarterback.
Yeah. I was thinking earlier today about what I want to talk to you about. The one thing that's interesting is how much different the transfer portal environment, just the transfer environment, is today. Like what you just went through the last few months versus even when you went through it from Baylor to here.
Yeah.
Right? How much different does it, like for someone who's living it, how much different is it?
Today, for people who's in the portal, it's almost like you're a free agent.
Yeah.
When I was in it, coming from Baylor, like I just said, it felt like I was just in high school again. There was no money talk. There was none of that. And today you're negotiating contracts and doing stuff like that, and like you almost don't feel like you're in college anymore. You feel like you're a professional athlete, and that's the biggest change from when I was in it to in today's portal time.
Yeah. This offseason now, I just talked to Coach Dilfer about it. There were people not expecting, but thinking that you may transfer to a Power 5 school.
Right.
By all accounts, there was a lot of interest in you by Power 5 schools, but you've made the decision to stay here at UAB. Take me through that process a little bit, like what the last few, because you haven't even been in the portal, right? The last few weeks, kind of navigating that and trying to make a decision for you and your family.
Yeah. Before the season, Coach told you, he sat me down and was like, hey, man, I know what you're going to do this year, and after this season, I fully expect you to hop into the portal or just at least hear them out, because, he's like, you deserve that. I really thought about it. I thought about it. I had, like some people, in your ear, like, hey, man, if you did, we would want you, stuff like that. But I just couldn't do it. I thought about every scenario that you could think of. And, right here at UAB, I have the best head coach, I have the best quarterback coach, I have the best offensive coordinator, best teammates. I can't think of a better place where I'd rather be. And then plus, my head coach won a Super Bowl. Like he coached he coached the Elite 11. He did all this stuff with all these quarterbacks. I would be stupid if I left and went somewhere else where I'm not gonna get the same level of coaching and stuff. And so that was really the biggest thing. I'm not really a money guy, because the way I see it is, if I just put my head down and work every day and keep getting better and learn from Dilfer and everything on the staff, not good money now, that doesn't really mean anything. I know I'm gonna make it up on the back end.
Yeah.
And so that's really my thing with that.
You guys know I love football. And this football season, I've been trying to find a new way to bet on sports. I'm sick of using casinos, the traditional way to do it. And I found the best way to do it, had to tell you guys about it. It's on Cut. Cut is the game-changing social betting platform. Look no further. This is where you gotta be. It's a peer-to-peer betting playground. On Cut, you can bet against your friends, bet against fellow fans on sports, politics, pop culture, and much more. It's much better than just regular sports books. Cut handles payments, so no more chasing friends for money, no more talking to a bookie, hassle-free betting at its finest. And the best part, no more faceless casinos. It's personal and it's exciting. You can customize odds for what you want to bet on. Tailor your bets with fully customizable odds. It's your game and your rules on Cut. Also, we get lower VIG on Cut. Much lower VIG for a better betting experience for everybody, more winnings and less hassle. One of my favorite parts of Cut is the social features. You can dive into group chats, betting leaderboards, head-to-head history, and user profiles. It's like having a group of friends on a betting platform and betting against them if you want. Your betting experience just got a major upgrade when you use Cut. I didn't even mention yet the rewards that you get on the Cut app. You get cash back every time you bet against your friends. The more you bet, the more you earn. It is a win-win for everyone. Cut is legal in 40 plus states, which I love because I'm traveling so much. It's hard to find sports books that are legal in most states. 40 plus states for Cut, including those without traditional sports books. So put your money where your mouth is. It's time to fire on sports on the best new app. I've been looking for a long time, and I found it. It's on Cut. Use my promo code ADAMB and get a 10% deposit match at cut.com. That's cut.com, KUTT.com. Use my code ADAMB for a 10% deposit match when you deposit money. Again, cut.com, KUTT. Get a 10% deposit match when you use my code ADAMB. And guys, supporting our sponsors helps us so much, helps me personally be able to travel around the country and bring on amazing guests. So go support Cut today. So Coach Dilfer actually told you that he thinks you should explore it. Mm-hmm. What's it mean to have a head coach who actually, because a lot of head coaches would be like, you're stupid if you do that.
that just goes to with the relationship that we have, and not only with me, but just the whole building. We never lie to each other. We always tell the truth. We're always transparent, and he was just being honest. Would it hurt? if I left, yeah. Would it hurt? You know, they try to find a new quarterback and all that. And so for him to say that, you know, that's really honest because right now they could be scrambling trying to find a quarterback and all this stuff. And, you know, he's just looking out for the best interest of me. And, you know, I chose to stay even though he told me that.
I just talked to Coach, like I said, and he said that, you know, you were getting offers of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to leave. When you're hearing that, that has to be a little like in your mind. You know, you're a college kid, right? Like you've never seen that kind of money before. That has to be a little bit of like number one, like sticker shock. Like, wait, is this real? And then, you know, what'd you use as your like support system to kind of navigate? You know, what makes sense and what you should listen to, what you shouldn't listen to. So many people try to give you advice, right, during that time.
Well, I mean, I kind of got like a little old soul when it comes to it. So when I was, you know, hearing all that, I didn't really faze me because, you know, with taxes and everything like that. No, like
that's nothing.
Yeah, like that wasn't the actual number that's gonna come out to. But I mean, yeah, I just, you know, all money is not good money. And so basically, like I was saying before, I didn't want to take that and then just be sitting a year or 2 years from now and be like, man, I got the money, but I'm not in the league. I'm not doing everything that I dreamed to do. So that's why I was like, man, like money's not worth it right now. You know, I'm doing what I love to do is to play football, and there's no better place I'd rather do it than him.
What's it like playing for Trent Dilfer? He told me to ask you, and he said he wants you to be honest too. What's it? I mean, it's gotta be tough.
It's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's fun, but it's hard at the same time. I say it's fun because I'm just crazy. Like I just like hard stuff. I don't like nothing in my life has came easy, so I don't like when I do something and it just happens right away. So you're never good enough. You know, I could break a record one week, and he's coming in and he shows me a long list of what I didn't do, and I'm looking at the table, I'm like, man, yeah, I thought I played good, but
I didn't.
Dude open right here. If I would have slid in the pocket right here, I wouldn't have got sacked. Should have changed the protection right here. Why'd I throw that screen out there? You know, just seeing the little details about it, I'm like, man, I could play so much better. And that's the thing I like about it is, it's almost like a game to me. It's almost like a puzzle. And you think you're doing good, but he's holding you to such high of a standard that you're like, oh man, okay, I'm not doing that right now, but what if I like get it down and I'm doing this now? Like what if I try to be perfect? Like, because I feel like if I try to be perfect, even though I'm not gonna be perfect, then that's just gonna slow the game down, and I'm gonna play at a level that I didn't think I could get to.
You just said in that answer that nothing in your life has come easy. Tell me more about that.
I mean, yeah, man. I'm the prototypical of it takes a village to raise a child. You know, from my grandparents, from my dad, from my mom, uncles, sisters. You know, everybody has had a part in raising me to the person I am today. You know, from surgeries, from injuries, being overlooked. Just some kid from San Antonio, Texas. You know, that doesn't really hold weight in Texas if you're from San Antonio, other than if you're from like Dallas or Houston or something like that. That's different. And so, no, I've been overlooked a lot, and just having to, all right, boom, that didn't happen. Cool. I'm just gonna put my head down and keep working. All right, well, I didn't get the job. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna put my head down and keep working. And I've done that every single day. You know, get to Baylor, playing the Big 12 championship, trending on Twitter, all this, and, you know, going crazy, breaking records. You know, we losing overtime, then playing in the Sugar Bowl, all that. And then the next year, back on the sideline, like nobody's heard of you. Then the year after that, you put your head down, say you're gonna start all this, don't get it. I'm like, okay, cool. Come here, First year, I'm all right, cool. I got a fresh new start. I'm gonna be a starter. All this work go pay off. Don't start. And so, there's many times, on the phone crying with my dad, like, I'm done, I'm not playing football no more. Like, I'm always doing the right thing, and it doesn't happen. So why keep doing the right thing? I'm done. I put all this stuff into football, and football, it's not giving in return what I'm putting into it. And, just praying about it and all these things. But at the end of the day, I don't quit. That's one thing about Zeno. Zenos don't quit. And, everybody in my family, they told me, they was like, it's hard, but, it's going to get better. There's light at the end of the tunnel. You can't quit. And, look at me now. Just to start.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ekron Athletics. Listen, you guys know I was an injury-prone player during my playing career. Felt like I was hurt, having surgery every other season. Looking back on it, I wasn't recovering the right way. So now in my post-playing career, I've made it a mission to figure out how to recover best. And that's when I found Ekron Athletics. Their B37S percussion massage gun, this thing right here, has changed the way I recover after big workouts. I wish I had this thing when I was playing. It was named the best overall massage gun by GQ, Sports Illustrated, and other trusted publications. I'm telling you, every player and athlete out there should be using this thing to recover after workouts and games and to get loose before games and practices. And even if you're not playing sports and using it before the gym and after the gym, I use it when I'm sitting at home watching college football every Saturday. This thing is beautiful. I love it. I take it with me everywhere I go, even on the road when I travel. Oh, and the B37S massage gun is not just about a quick fix. It's got a long battery life, and it comes with a lifetime warranty guaranteeing this thing lasts much longer than my football career did. Whether you're a current athlete, a former athlete, or just an everyday person trying to stay in shape, you need to try the B37S percussion gun from Ekron Athletics. Go to ekronathletics.com today and start recovering faster and moving easier. That's Ekron Athletics, and use promo code NEXTUP for 25% off your purchase. That's EKRIN athletics.com with promo code NEXTUP for 25% off your purchase. During that time at Baylor, and even that first year here, when things weren't going your way, or it did go your way and then it didn't right after, what's something that, what did you learn about yourself during that time?
Just staying humble. I would say that's the big thing, just staying humble and just working, because I think after the Big 12 game, you got to think what was I, 18 then?
You thought you were pretty cool after that game, huh?
18.
You were the man.
We're playing against Jalen Hurts, CD, and all them guys, throwing touchdowns. We come in, we lose overtime. After that, I'm like, man, this is what they were talking about. Yeah, I'm like, this is what they were talking about. Like, I get to college, make a name for myself, blah, blah, do all that.
Yeah.
And I kind of got, big-headed from that. And I think that really hurt me a little bit. Like, God needed to humble me a little bit from that. And he did. I got humbled. I got humbled fast. And, from there on, I said, okay, when I get my next opportunity to make a name for myself and to, be that player that I know I could be, I'm going to do it the right way.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay humble about it.
I've heard a couple of quarterbacks and coaches talk about, listening to the outside noise, and that if you allow yourself to listen to it when it's really good, then you also listen when it's really bad.
Right.
And you got to just find a way to block it all out. Have you kind of seen that throughout your career?
And that's something that Dilfer talks to me a lot about. When you're doing good, people going to love you. When you're doing bad, people going to hate you. So, the only thing that matters is what's going on inside this building. It could even be old family members, it could be friends. It doesn't really matter what other people say or think about you. It's true. I don't really let it bother me. I don't worry about it. During the season, I'm not on Instagram or Twitter reading comments about me. I really don't do any of that because I know that once you start paying attention to that, you're going to start to believe what people are telling you. Yeah. If I go out and throw 5 touchdowns, go for 500 yards, and I listen to people on the outside, they're going to believe that. I'm going to start to believe that I'm the best person in the country, blah, blah. But if I go out and throw 4 picks and, all these fumbles and everything like that, and we lose, and I start to listen to them, then I'm gonna start to believe that. And so that's why just staying even, just put your head down and working. That's just the best thing.
Your story of staying at UAB is one of the really cool stories in college football, and I'm just getting to know you. You're articulate and smart, so I'm sure you've thought about this a little bit. When it comes to like the current state of college football and where college football is right now, with the portal, with NIL, I'm sure you talk to teammates. You were at Baylor, so you got guys that play Power 5 football that you know well. What do you think needs to change about college football?
I would just say not the character, but just seeing through everything. Especially guys my age, they're so quick to do something without thinking about it. So emotion-based without looking into the facts and, seeing through that smoky mirror. Because that's where all the problem gets into. You say I leave and go somewhere else. I'm offered all this, and it doesn't happen. Then you're like, man, you get sold a false dream, and that's just the biggest thing is just seeing through all of that.
Empty promises.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say that's probably the biggest thing.
When it comes to, you talked a little bit about Coach Dilfer and what he's taught you, just like, what it's like playing for him off the field and all that stuff. But what's something from a football standpoint that Coach Dilfer's taught you?
He's taught me how to generate more power too in my throws. I would say that's the biggest thing. Using more of my hips. I'm pretty stiff right now. So I'm stiff, man, in my hips and everything.
Stretching.
Yeah, and so that's a real big thing that I've been doing is stretching. But my arm used to get tired a lot. It used to get really sore. And the first thing he told me, he's like, man, it's like your hips. So I got with him, I think when he first got here, and just working on, throwing throws with my hips and not just relying on my arm like I've been doing in the past.
Well, what's the one area that before next season that you want to improve upon to give yourself the best chance to play in the NFL for a long time?
I would say the mental side. Mental side is really the biggest thing. I could tune up like the little small details physically, but mentally, I want to be at the Tom Brady levels where I get to play, I line up. I know exactly what everybody's doing, all 11, and knowing where I'm going to get the ball before I even touch my hands. Right now, I'm getting it, and I'm like, okay, I have a good feel, but I want to have everything down pat before I even touch the ball. And so that's why I think this offseason is a big deal with me, getting with Dilfer, getting with Mort, getting with Coleman, and everybody else in this building, and just focusing on my mental side.
What makes you believe about this place, about UAB, that you guys can have the kind of success that you want to have next season?
Because, our thing is it's on every door, 1-0, going 1-0, just winning a day. And, last season didn't work out the way that we wanted to. But when you have a dream, when you have a goal, and you keep striving towards it, and you keep just putting your head down and working every day, you're gonna accomplish it. You're gonna get to it. And so, with the people in this building, with the guys we got in the locker room, I feel like that, we're gonna achieve it.
There's a lot of people that watch this show that are young athletes, right? A ton of them, especially quarterbacks.
Right.
I have a lot of usually it's quarterbacks and head coaches I talk to. What's something that, maybe to young players watching, or even yourself, or you go talk to yourself, the young quarterback that is dreaming of playing big-time college football, what advice would you give them? Before we get back to the pod, we got to talk about something super important. Fellas, I know you guys are using those sharp razors to shave your face and to shave your manly areas. I'm telling you, stop doing it. I was in your shoes. I was using regular razors, and then I found Manscaped. Manscaped sponsored the pod a few months ago, and I started using their products. It has changed my routine and my life completely. I told you before about Smooth Sack Summer. It's now Fresh Ball Fall. You need fresh balls in the fall. There's no excuse not to be fresh. Let's be honest. We both know we go in a little bit nervous to our manly grooming routine with the regular old razors we use, but with Manscaped, it takes away any feeling of being nervous. I use the Lawnmower 4.0 when I'm doing my manly grooming. I use the beard hedger for my face, and the reviews have been immaculate. Just take my word on that one, boys. So I'm telling you, if you're using regular old razors, stop and use Manscaped. And you can go to manscaped.com and use my code ADAMB for 20% off and free shipping. I'm telling you guys, it's fresh ball fall. Using Manscaped will change your routine, change your manlyhood, and change your life. Manscaped.com, promo code ADAMB for 20% off and free shipping. What's something that, maybe to young players watching, or even yourself, or you go talk to yourself, the young quarterback that's dreaming of playing big-time college football, what advice would you give them?
Two things. I would say, don't let football use you. Use football. That's a big thing that somebody taught me. Because if you let football use you, then you could get consumed in it. But if you use football, I'm not football. I'm Jacob Zeno. So I'm using football to, get an education. I'm getting a master's right now. I'm using football to spread the word. I'm a big faith guy, and I ask God all the time. I'm like, allow me to touch people and to use people and to bring them closer to you. And He's given me this amazing platform to go out and reach people and touch kids and moms and a lot of people. I would say that, and then I would say don't let football be more than a game. At the end of the day, this is a kid's game. Yeah. Like, you're supposed to have fun with this. This isn't supposed to be like, oh man, I got football. You're supposed to be fun. You're supposed to have fun and want to do this. I like coming in here and doing the hard stuff that I'm doing because it's fun to me. And once you start making football not fun and you don't enjoy it, then I feel like that's when you gotta step away from it. So that's what I'm doing. I told myself, I was like, once I stop having fun playing football, I'm done, because it's not like how it used to be.
What's Jacob Zeno going to be doing in 15 years?
I'll be retiring. Looking forward what I'm going to be doing next. I got my degree in kinesiology, and so whenever I'm done playing football, I would like to be a physical therapist, but that's not guaranteed. If I'm retiring in 15 years, then I'm pretty much set. It's
a long time of NFL money.
And endorsements and everything like that. Yeah. So I'll probably be somewhere with Dilfer. He'll probably be my caddy somewhere.
We'll be caddying for you. You a golfer?
I'm trying to get into it. They said I need to get into it, so I'm trying to get into it.
You don't play at all?
Not really. Top golf, but that doesn't really count.
You got Top Golf around here?
Yeah, there's there's Top Golf by the stadium.
They probably use that for recruiting a bunch, right? Yeah, it's a recruiting tool.
Yeah.
If I were to go ask your teammates about you and ask what you're like, what would they say?
Funny, charismatic. You can ask any one of those guys down there. I'll give them the shirt off my back. There's times where I've drove in the middle of the night, changing tires or helping them move or anything like that. Times where they didn't have food, I'm like, hey man, y'all come over, I cooked. Stuff like that. I'm very charismatic. I can't think of a bad thing that one of those guys could say.
Yeah, that's awesome. How do you describe your leadership style? Because you're going to get asked that at the NFL Combine.
I would say I'm vocal-ish. I'll probably say I lead by example more. But that's one of the areas that I want to grow in the off season is being a little bit more vocal. I got to get out of my shell. I don't really like to talk too much, but I just like to say let the work show for itself. But playing this quarterback position, it can't be like that. You got to be the coach on the field. You got to be that guy that everybody looks up to, and so having that voice is what I need. But yeah, I would say right now, I would say just let my work show for itself and having guys lead from that.
We've talked a little bit about the adversity and some of the stuff at Baylor and here and being overlooked. What's if you look back at your time, what's the one moment where you remember being the toughest moment that you had to overcome? And then how did you overcome it?
Toughest moment. I would probably say, that's a good question.
We're getting deep here, aren't we?
Yeah, I was about to say, that's a good question.
You weren't ready to open up about your whole life, were you?
Toughest moment, like with football?
Yeah, well, anything. I mean, and I asked that, so give me time to think about it. Like, I talk a lot about adversity. Like, my career, I had injuries and retired before the NFL Combine, and like, talk about that a lot. And anyone who's had success has gone through some tough moments, and everyone kind of has that one moment you're like, man, I almost quit.
I would say, would be about a year and a half ago, when I transferred here. You know, I'm coming in thinking, okay, I'm gonna be the dude, I'm gonna be the guy. And I'm, putting all the work in to be the guy, and it doesn't happen. And then we play UTSA here, and we lose in, I think, double overtime or something like that. Had a great game, and the next week I found myself back on the sidelines again, and I think that was my make or break moment, because then I was like, why? Like, I just had this game right here. I just showed everything. I put all the work in all these years, all this year, and do this, and I'm still not rewarded for it. Why am I doing this? Like, I'm done. I'm throwing in the towel. I give up. And that was a time where it's like, okay, you've been through this before, so this isn't nothing new. So why are you overreacting to this? I knew things would go get better, and I was like, hey, man, you can only control what you can control. You can't worry about what's happening on the outside. If you can wake up every day, and if you can put your head down and keep getting better, it's gonna be good. And that's what happened. I got through that tough moment, and Dilfer and all of them came in here and put my head down again. And I had the season that I had.
During this past season, was there a time where you kind of felt it click, where you were like, I'm back? Or like where you kind of, maybe it was a game, a play in a game, maybe it was a practice play where you're like, where you started feeling yourself again and got that swagger back?
Yeah, I'd probably say the Georgia game. I played on the Power 5 level, but just being down here and at Group of 5 and going against everybody here, just like, man, like, I know what I am, but I haven't had a chance to prove it in a long time. And once we played Georgia and put those numbers up and we're moving the ball on them like that, I was like, hey, like, I'm back. You always knew you could do this. You just had to, prove to yourself that you could do it again. And after that moment, I felt like stuff started to click better.
Yeah, I love it. Last thing I got for you, man. I asked Coach Dilfer the same question, and I like to end it with this question. What's your why? What's the reason you do what you do?
I'm almost like him with faith. I'm a big guy in faith, and I always pray every night to allow me to use this platform to get people closer, to God. And that's why I wake up every day. And as long as I got air in my body, I'm gonna, praise Him, and I'm gonna, do His work. And at first I didn't like the attention and the cameras and stuff like that, but then I realized, like, man, like, this is all my purpose right here, and showing light to Him and allowing people that. They might not be religious. They might, whatever it is, to hear me say what I say and them go out and seek faith is big.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, I appreciate your time. It was glad you came back to do this and tell your story a little bit. I'm excited for college football fans. We'll put this all over social media to get to know you a little bit better and see that there's a special quarterback down here in Birmingham, man. So I appreciate you doing this.